Pizza Patron's founder and CEO is the consummate marketer, businessman, and innovator. During the brutal economy of 2009, Pizza Patron enjoyed 4 quarters of comp store sales gains, with the largest being an 11% bump. From the outset, Swad made the gutsy decision to create a pizza concept geared at the ever-expanding Hispanic community. Oh, and did I mention that Swad also founded another successful concept, Wingstop, and sold it along the way? I'm Ellen Codiff, Editor-in-Chief of Food Channel Pro. Let's find out how this savvy restaurateur evaluates risk-taking and what he thinks about a whole lot more. Antonio, did you consider it a gutsy move to start a restaurant concept aimed at the Hispanic market when you were of Italian and Lebanese descent and you didn't speak Spanish?
Well, I would like to say yeah, and that was the intention, but no. For me, it was an opportunity. I moved into a neighborhood, and I wasn't from the area originally, and I didn't realize, I'd already signed the lease and built the pizza store, and didn't realize that about half the people that would eventually come through the door were Spanish-speaking Hispanic people, and it was all new to me. So sometimes they say necessity is the mother of invention. I saw an opportunity to make that pizza business different than all the rest, and from that moment forward, that's when we began the focus of Pizza Patron.
Has your approach to risk changed as you've grown older?
You know, I think probably, if anything, I've gotten a little bit of an appetite for more risk, and I think that comes from being a little bit more secure. You know, when you start out, and I started, you know, really on a shoestring, as they say, and you had just a finite amount of risk you could take before it was over. You know, there was no possibility of recovery. I'm not quite that position anymore, so as a result, I'm making that a positive, and I can take greater risk and know that even if it doesn't work out the way I intended, I'm still going to be okay. So I'd say you get it almost addicted to taking good, intelligent risk, and there's a difference, I think, between just a plain risk and an intelligent risk. And for me, it seems like the older I get, the more I want to do it.
When you take a risk, how do you evaluate it, and what metrics do you measure it against before you leap in?
Well, I sort of have a formula. It works like this. If it goes completely wrong, absolutely blows up in my face, are we still going to live to fight another day? In the phone card case, it was an amount of money that I had to refund, but it wasn't all the money or all the resources that our company had. But if I could survive the worst case scenario, the worst possible outcome, that's only half of the measurement tool. The second half is, if it goes good, in fact, if it goes great, can I measure the top of this thing? And if I can't see the top, and I can survive if it goes bad, I'll take that risk every time.
So then it would stand to reason that the more successful you become, the bigger risk you could take, because you got more money to back it up.
Yeah, yeah.
So God knows what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, well, I tell you, you want to take bigger risk, and you just keep rolling the dice. It's great.
And do you have an example in the last couple of years where something you did was risky?
Well, I have an example of something that sort of blew up on me. A while ago, a couple of years ago, we decided that we were going to offer phone cards through our pizza stores aimed at our core customer, the Hispanic customer. And it was a revolutionary thing. At the time, phone cards were sold by the minute, and these were sold, you paid a certain amount of money, and you got a whole block of time. For $30, you can activate your phone and call as much as you want for a month to Mexico, U.S. to Mexico. And it was a great concept, and it served our core customer well. It was a legitimate value. It was great. So we decided that we would get behind that. We'd roll those phone cards out. We thought we did enough due diligence. That's a lesson I learned. You can never do quite enough due diligence on the people you're working with. And as it turned out, they didn't work. The calls would be dropped, disconnected, and the people that we wanted to serve the most was the ones that were essentially getting ripped off. I ended up having to refund all the money to all the franchisees for all their inventory and just swallowed hard and just said, well, what a great lesson. The lesson wasn't, should have never gotten into the phone card business. It was a great idea and it served our customer well. The lesson was do a better job checking out who you're in business with. But I'd take that risk again. We could survive it if it didn't work out, and if it did work out, it would have been fantastic.
Did you consider it a gutsy move to sell Wingstop?
That was I get asked that, you know, once you've built a company and sold it, I think you get sort of an idea. People think that you're looking for the door, and I get asked that a lot now. So, you know, you've reached a certain unit level. When is Pizza Patron going to be on the blocks? I've found a way when people ask me, what's my exit strategy? That's a very, very cool thing to ask people. Listen, I shut them up with one word: death. So I don't know. Selling Wingstop was it was a great exercise. It was a great brand. It continues to be a very relevant concept, and I'm very proud of the work that we did there. But Gutsy, I don't know about Gutsy.
You think the timing was right?
Well, you know, it's funny. You know, people think that money and seed capital and all that is the most important component to success, and I think that's important. But something that you can't measure that's really important is confidence. And I'll be real honest, you know, at the time when I sold the company, I didn't have the confidence in myself to be able to continue to grow that brand to its full potential. Looking back, and everybody's a genius in the rearview mirror, but looking back, I see that I could have, and I had a great team assembled, and it was getting better, and we were learning every day. So if I had it to do over again, I'm not so sure I would have done the same thing. But regrets? No, not a regret. But now I have a little bit more seed capital for projects, and I'm also powered by the confidence that you obtain over the years.
Great.
We're talking with Antonio Swad of Pizza Patron. Check out the next part of this series as we explore what it takes to be a leader with guts. For Food Channel Pro, I'm Ellen Codiff.